right, we're going to try this again today. I know a couple people have, with John's help, have individually gone in and they've gotten their stuff to work, but ideally by the end of the day, everyone, including me, will have ours working. I just thought you might be interested in this. I just saw this online. Will Apple soon be worth $1 trillion? Their current worth is 760 billion. So for all those people who say, you know, why do iPhone apps? I don't think they're going away soon. I just don't. So, did your what work? I don't know. We'll know better today with everybody's. All right. So we're all on a virtual desktop. If you've either followed the instructions John or somebody else has given, or if yours just seemed to work, you don't have to do this. This is more for everyone else's who do not work. All right. And again, I cleared off everything that I had that said Android. Oh, just about everything I had that said Android on it. There. And I made a new folder that's called My Android. But there's nothing else that I have on here that, as far as I know, that's Android. Now, should I start it up with Java Mobile, or should I start it out with, which is mobile? All right, so we're going to start it with Eclipse Mobile. Again, if yours already works, don't do this. We worked on this yesterday, and boy, it was unbelievable. I had John try to log into this machine. We couldn't even get the emulator to come up for quite a while. So, all right. Now, as far as I remember, the first thing we want to do is we want to go to Window, and we want to go over to Android SDK Manager. Now, what I'm about to show you, yours will not look like this, probably. And if it's on me, then it's on me, and I apologize in advance, but I had told you to just install everything. And I know that's what I did last year and didn't have any problems with it. Well, this year, there have been problems with it. We don't know if it's one of the versions, you know, the new versions with the old versions. No one really knows. So the idea is, if you take a look up on the screen here, everything that you've got that's between 23.05 and 21, if it's not installed, check it so you're going to install it. All right. And if it is installed, good, leave it alone. Anything that's below that, up to here. So all this stuff that you see, Android, the build tools, 20 on down to 17. If those are currently installed, check them, because we're going to uninstall them. Do I have to say that again? Again, everything that's under 21 with the Android build tools. If yours say installed, then click the check mark there, which will uninstall them when we will uninstall them in just a minute. I've already gotten down to this point, so I'm just going to leave it there. Everybody's good up till that point, correct? Up till the Android build tools 17? Now, the other thing, just so you know, I'll tell you this in advance. If you end up checking too many things that you want to uninstall, what will happen is, before it does that, you get a message from Eclipse and it builds it and it says you're about to uninstall all of these. All right, and it's so big, it's bigger than the width of the screen, and you can't move it down. You can't move down on it. So what I'm telling you is, if that happens, all this stuff, you'll have to uninstall it in pairs. In other words, do half of it, then come back and do the other half. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so everybody's got everything from Android SDK Build Tools 20 down through 17. If it was installed, you've checked it, correct? You're what? 20 through 17. So the ones that should be installed are 23.0.5, 21, 21.1.1, 21.1, 21.0.2, 21.0.1, and 21. So in other words, everything between 23 something and 21 should be installed in the Android SDK build tools. Everything under that should be uninstalled. In other words, if any of these here say installed for yours, click the checkbox, which will uninstall it. All right. Then moving down. All right, so I'm right down to the bottom there. Again, I'm going by what John told me, and I have no reason to doubt what he said. On the stuff that's here, make sure that under the Android 5.0 API 21, make sure the documentation for Android SDK is installed. Make sure the SDK platform is installed. The next three, the samples for SDK, and the TV stuff, you can leave uninstalled. So if they are installed, you can check them to uninstall them. And all the rest of the stuff under that, the ARM, the Intel, the Google APIs, and the sources for Android SDK, all of this stuff can stay installed. John said to me yesterday, I don't know if he was being serious or tongue-in-cheek, he said maybe I ought to post this someplace. And I said, actually, I think that if once you get it to work, that'd be a great idea. Because I can't believe that we're the only people who are doing it like this. And I will tell you right now, I laid out $500 worth of my own money from the IT grant so I could get extra training and stuff for myself, knowing I'd get reimbursed. Well, I sent it in now. It's going on 2 months ago, and I haven't gotten reimbursed yet. If they told me today they would go out and they would pay for 10 $100 tablets, I'd get them. I'm not going to pay for them, but if they said they would do that, I would do that today. Because I think it'd be much easier hooking an actual tablet up there. All right, the only worry I have then is now there's going to be 6 MacBooks in there and 10 tablets. You know, I'm really get worried after a while of somebody breaking in there or whatever. All right. So everybody's up till this point. Is that correct? You're all okay up to the sources for Android SDK? All right, so I'm going to go down to the very bottom then. And notice all the stuff that's in here, all the older Android 4.4, 4.3, 4.0, etc. Make sure that stuff's all uninstalled. Now again, I apologize. This is stuff I told you to install in the first week when we were going through this. Yes. And then finally, as we get down towards the bottom, what do we have here? We've got under the extras, we've got the support repository installed. Notice that's since yesterday, so there's already an update available. All right. The support library, there's already an update available. So I've got those checked, and that's good because I do want to install the 2 package updates. Then all the Google Play stuff, not installed. Android Auto, not installed. Google USB driver, I don't think that's really going to matter one way or the other unless you're going to be doing something with the USB. And the Intel x86 emulator, I really don't know if that matters or not either, but that's the way that the rest of mine are set up. All right, so that one, as he said, then that one really, you should make sure this one here is installed. So you might have, yours might say, like, install 50 packages, delete 50 packages, or whatever. All right, depending on what you had checked and not checked, I still don't understand this, and when I sat down and talked with Adrian about it, he didn't either. I don't understand how everybody's can be built from the same snapshot, yet some people, when they're in here, it shows certain things that are installed and they can check, and other people don't have those. I don't get that. All right, but that's like saying, you know, well, we each have. I mean, this morning I heard Travis saying, Kelly, I don't get this. My code is exactly like yours, and yours works and mine doesn't. All right, which says to me probably it wasn't the same. But let's say it was the same, and one worked and one doesn't. I can't explain that. So again, yours might say install, yours might say whatever. So I've got these install 2 packages. I don't have any idea what it's going to be deleting. All right, so I'm just going to click the install 2 packages. As always, accept the license and click install. Now yours might take quite a bit of time if you've got a lot of stuff that you are uninstalling. I know yesterday that took probably a good 10 minutes or so. All right. It's funny, I was talking to my wife about this after work when we did this the other day, and I just told her, I said, you know, and I think I said this to you yesterday, I'd much rather have these problems now, even if it means we have to blow off 2 or 3 weeks, than have them at the beginning of next semester where we have to blow that off. All right? Well, I'm not sure. There's a chance, I'm not supposed to even announce this yet, but there's a good chance between December 15th and January 9th, you won't be able to use the virtual desktops at all. Just so you're aware of that. All right, and the reason for that is the stuff that houses all that stuff, they're getting all new hardware for it. And they're going to be doing work on it during the break. They're not sure exactly when the hardware's coming in. They're not sure exactly when they're going to have the exact time set aside to do that. That's why Terry had told me just plan on almost that entire month it not being available. I know that's, you know, I don't like it any more than you do if that makes you feel any better. All right, that means that if I want to do stuff from home, that where I need my H drive or my P drive, I can't, just like you can't. All right. And people ask sometimes, but I know that what is it? Christmas this year is, I think, on a Thursday, I believe. All right, I'm pretty sure December 25th is a Thursday, and yeah, it is. Okay, and so my guess is the school will be closed. Usually the way they do this, they'll probably close Wednesday the 20th, Christmas Eve. They may, and that might be even early. All right, it might be Tuesday, but usually it might be Wednesday, fairly early. They'll be closed all the way through about the 1st or 2nd of the year. Usually during that whole time, they're not open at all. All right, just so you're aware of that, because I hate to see people say, well, I drove all the way down here for this. All right, and to tell you the truth, I've done it before too. So, all right, everybody, yours are still might be working, but everybody's got everything where you're at least installing or uninstalling, etc. All right, like I said, this might take a good 10 minutes. Now, I would see no reason while they're doing this why they couldn't minimize and create the virtual desktop. Do you agree with that? That's the way that mine looks. All right, so if yours is still going through the process here of doing all the work, don't close it, but minimize, please. Minimize the Android SDK Manager. So click the minus sign. And again, yours might be up exactly where mine is, or it might be someplace else. It doesn't really matter. But let's go to Window, and let's go down to Virtual Device Manager, please. All right, I've already got an AVD. Okay, that's right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit that so you can see. So I'd like you to go in if you've got if yours hasn't been working lately, and if you've got a virtual device, just get rid of it. Literally, just highlight it and click the delete button. So you're starting brand new. All right, so you should have that blank screen, and then there should be like a create there, which is probably all that's highlighted. Click on that, and you should be able to set it up just like this one. All right, then we can uncheck that. And you know what that does, right? Literally, is that going to show you the keyboard, or is it not going to show you a keyboard? All right, and that's fine. But this, again, don't use a name that you've already used for the AVD name. All right? So if you haven't called one AVD01, like John did when he made this one yesterday, then call it that. Choose the Nexus 01 3.7. Hopefully you've got this in here, Android 5.0 API 21. And hopefully you've got this, ARM v7. Leave that off. And I think, John, you said you tried it both with and without skins. And just that's fine. He chose skin with dynamic hardware controls, and I believe everything else, that's all the defaults. All right. I will tell you something too. Again, I'm telling you because I'm trying to get you to learn from where I've done stuff I shouldn't have done. Okay. Now I'm not changing anything in here. I think you'd all agree with that. I'm not changing anything. But for some reason, yesterday when I did this and I brought it up and I didn't change anything, but I clicked OK instead of cancel, the thing sat there for 5 minutes cycling, and eventually it came back not responding, and it locked. So if you're not changing anything, if you are changing something, click OK. If you're not changing anything, if you've got this up already, just click cancel. Yeah! That's why I'm not going to click OK right now, because like I said, if I did... Oh, okay. And you've heard that too. Once you've got this all up in whatever, the first thing you should do, hopefully by the end of the period today, everyone's works. And what you should always do is one of two things. Either, as Adrian said, you can start up the emulator, and even if you shut everything else down, you can leave the emulator up and running. Even after you get out of the virtual desktop, you can do that. Then it's already running the next time you bring it up. But if you don't want to do that, and I don't like doing that, but if you don't want to do that, all right, then make sure that whenever you start up, so when you come in here on Thursday, the first thing you should be doing then is starting up the emulator. All right, does that make sense? I mean, start up Eclipse, then start up the emulator right away. Yeah. I said you can leave it run indefinitely. Adrian said that won't hurt anything. Or if you do shut it down, which is fine too. All right. Okay. Since what? Friday? Yeah. Did you hear that? Laura said hers has been running since Friday. She's never shutting it down again. She's even telling them during the break, even if they give her a new virtual desktop, don't shut down that emulator. So again, I'm going to cancel from here, and I'm going to start the emulator up. I just click cancel because I was right here. And I don't want to click OK because, like I said, that locked it up. If I didn't make any changes, it locked it up. You can click OK. No, you can click OK. But what I'm saying is, if you bring this up again and you don't make changes, and you click OK again, it may lock up on you. That's what I said it did to me. We're going to get to that in just a minute. All right, so hopefully now you have only one emulator in there. Okay? So let's give Teresa a second. I want her to catch up. Remember too, if you all take a look up on the screen for a second. Again, John, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. The stuff that's up here right now, you know, like all the stuff that you've got in here for target and device, etc. You know, that stuff that's there, the device shouldn't change. But it's not inconceivable that if you've got something and you go, well, mine doesn't look like yours. It might be because you still have some stuff that's loaded that you're about to uninstall. So yours might look different than this, is what I'm saying. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. When we're all done, in other words, we can start the emulator right now, but typically what's going to happen is after that stuff all gets deleted or inserted, I think Eclipse does a restart anyway. All right, yeah, usually it does, but if you're not sure if it does or not, you can manually always restart it. So I'm going to start the emulator here. So with it highlighted, I'm just going to click start. Now, Mike just asked a question. Are we doing anything here? Yeah, we're going to scale the screen size to 6 because that'll make it bigger on screen. All right. And the rest of it you can, I believe, just leave the way it is. You don't have to wipe the user data. You don't have to do anything. Again, I can give you 10 articles that are out there on Stack Overflow. Half of them say to do one thing and half to say do the other. There is no universal agreement on any of this stuff. So now I'm going to launch. Everybody cool with that? Oh, and I guess now I forgot to tell them about the logcat. That's okay. We will talk about it, though, before the period's over. All right. Within a couple of seconds, hopefully, all right, within a couple of seconds, hopefully, then you're going to see the emulator is going to come up and start running. But if it's the first time, it might be more than a couple seconds. It may be 10 or 15 minutes. That's why I said, as far as I'm concerned, if everybody here today can create a hello world, if everybody here today can compile a hello world, if everybody here today can run a hello world and they all run, that's a success. Well, and John will tell you yesterday too. It's funny too. Yesterday, those of you who are in the Objective C or the C class, you know this because John and Mike did most of the work yesterday. I actually installed the operating systems and they installed the Xcode. And I asked John. I said, "Well, how long did that Xcode install take?" He goes, "That was quite a while. It was 10 or 15 minutes." And I said, "Well, mine's been going for an hour and 15 minutes." So I stopped it, started it up again. It had been installing all that time. Yeah, I got a message back. All right, but then after I restarted it again, then it took 2 or 3 minutes and it was done. So I don't get it at all. Yep, there it is. So there's the emulator. Why is it that small? Okay, that's fine. I mean I'm just asking, but I don't. It's a fine emulator. Once the emulator comes up, if you look up on the screen here, once the emulator does come up, and John, again, please correct me if I'm wrong. Once the emulator comes up, now you can close this device manager right here. All right, so you can click the X to close it. So the emulator is still up and running. And I don't need my SDK anymore because I've already done all that stuff and shown it all to you. All right, so I'm going to close that. But it probably would be a good idea just because I did a bunch of stuff for me to come in here and restart Eclipse. Now, if your SDK manager is still running, please don't restart Eclipse. Yes, you have to click on it and then click the start button. And then you can go where it's got the scaling up there. I think you can, if it doesn't say 6, you can change it to 6. You don't have to wipe it, then just click start or launch, I guess it is. Yeah. Well, and yesterday, remember, you even tried to have me do it from the command line and it didn't recognize Android. So what we did last, I guess it would have been, was it last, not last summer, the summer before last, when I was here with Terry, we would literally just make a bunch of changes. Stuff wouldn't work. We'd go out to Stack Overflow, we get it to work, etc. And he was doing really a good job. He was documenting everything. And then basically he said, "No, I've got my notes." That's what he built it from, was when we got it all to work. And we got it to work on his machine because his machine didn't have all the garbage on it that mine does. So he got it to work, and then he built that, and then he sent it over to me, and he put all the other stuff that I needed on their XAMPP and everything else. And that's how we did it last year. And that's, like I said, there were no problems. So I'm really of the mindset, though, when I talk to you about the fact that I wouldn't have minded buying a bunch of tablets, that if you go and read out there, somebody will post a question about a problem with the emulator, and the next person will write down who the hell uses an emulator. You'll see that almost right away. Get a device, get a life type of an idea. That's what they'll say. Get a device and you won't have any problems. Well, you know, again, if we all had Android devices, but I can't make that a requirement to take this class that you have to have an Android device. So the only way we could get around that would be if we provided the Android devices. And like I said, that may happen. I don't know. I have no idea. But to be honest with you, my big hope, and I know this isn't going to affect anyone in here with the exception of Mike and Laura and Amanda and Andrew, but if we don't get new machines by the end of this year, Jeff's going to get mad, and he's going to let people know. No, this has been at least 4 years, and I think 5 years with these machines. In the overflow lab that they have for people, the overflow lab, they've got better machines and bigger monitors. And all I hear is, well, theirs is the same as yours. That's because these two are done in tandem. Because when it was done last, that's when Doug was still here. Right? Because I keep hearing that. You know, well, theirs is whatever. Yeah, I guess mine would be too. Yeah, not as thick, but, well, actually it is without this. Does everybody that has just done this today, do you have the emulator, is it up? Well, Mark did the same thing, yeah. No, she said, well, you know, mine, she said, you know, mine's up because she said it's been up since Friday, but I know that she'd already done it using John Steps and you had too, so I take it neither one of you have problems, you know. And I'm more concerned with Zane, who's not here, and Zach, who's not here, and Ryan, who's not here. All right. Travis has worked? Good. Did he have to leave? Yeah. Yeah. Now you might want to check, those of you who are doing the updates and the deletes, check your SDK manager and see if it's finished yet. You probably have that running in the background. And again, if it's still going, it's still going. But hopefully it's pretty close to done. Once it finishes and you close that again and you get back into Android, I would suggest that you do a file restart. Right? And you're making sure, because I think that's doing some writing of the intermediate files and stuff in the system file showed that it was ready. It never did anything. We stopped it, started it again. Left it for 10 or 15 more minutes. Nothing ever happened. And my big worry is, we get all yours working, but I can't make mine work. And I'd rather have it that way, but that said, then I can't sit there and show you what to do and run it and have it work on here. And I thought, well, then we thought maybe it was my account. So John walked into the machine yesterday and couldn't get it to work for his either.
Eventually that did work.
Then it was like a devil machine, because after he got done with his machine, any other machine he went to, he now could not get them to work. Yeah, like you said, though, eventually he did get it to work. So.
That's the one you said there is a crash.
Now am I right? Has everybody has gotten their emulator up and running, correct? All right. It might look like this, but you've got an emulator up. All right. Some of us who are showing off have got an emulator with a clock on it. There's going to be a lot of dead air on this tape because I'm just leaving it on till we take a break. Yeah, since we're waiting here, this probably would be a good time. It's a little early, but let's come back at about 5 to 2. All right, and we'll pick it up then. Hopefully everybody's will be closer to working by then.